thank y'all very much for being here today. There's been some issues surrounding all this purchases since the beginning of the first of the year, January and February, when the mayor came out and said we're going to build a children's museum and a new library downhill. Well, there's a lot of discussion, a lot of interest, and over the last couple of weeks, I've gradually exposed one issue after another issue, the purchase prices, and now it's come to our attention that the city manager, who's also the treasurer of the DRC, has said that the reason why the DRC paid $225,000 in a 4-minute flip was all the improvements that were done to the building. Well, the fact of the matter is there were only $1,750 of improvements done, and during those improvements, the company that sold it during the flip wasn't even the one who owned it. The city manager has also said it's a corporation in good standing, which isn't true. The corporation has liens against it that were never satisfied when the closing took place. There again, the attorney is one of our most famous attorneys in the city of Myrtle Beach. Chef Guyton has been involved with the paperwork. There's just a question after question after question. And of the $2.9 million that's been spent on these 11 buildings down here, over the last 3 years, the majority of those purchases, people have bought it and turned the buildings over within 3 years. And of the $2.9 million that's been spent on these buildings, $1.5 million is above the valuations. There's exorbitant, ridiculous prices. And today I'm calling for the city manager's firing. Last week I called for him. The next couple of days he'll be operating without a contract, and I'm asking right now for City Council to step up and fire him. I'm also asking for the immediate Council to take the immediate action and cut off all the funding to the DRC. Cut off the money flow, cut off the money, have all the parking meter monies come back to the city. And I'm also acting, it's kind of interesting, and this has been going on. I had this 15, 16, 18 years ago. I challenged why Mr. Seebach, as the executive director of a non-profit corporation, could be a city employee when the city actually can't fire Mr. Seebach. And for the entire time, he's been made over $2 million in his package with the city. I'm calling on the City Council to act immediately to take him out of the South Carolina Retirement Project and take all his benefits away, because he is not a city employee, and he, as the executive director, is responsible for the ridiculous prices that have been paid. And then this third thing I'm calling for today is the incumbents, Mayor Rhodes and the 2 council members running for election, to step up. They've said nothing about what has been going on, and either step up and take action, or I'm asking for the mayor to step down today and walk away, because this is nothing but another level of corruption in the city government. I have a couple. I should have had that. I have the closing statement. I have all the sales and the actual values at the county. What the building in question that sold for $325 had a value at the county of only $89,000. The city manager also said there were businesses. There was a business downstairs and a business upstairs operating. I've not seen where there's a business license that allowed either one of those to be operating. That's a question that's out there. And then there's just all kinds of questions. Here are the deeds, the sales prices, and then also the LLC, the Hawley Family LLC, owns property, and there's vacant land that they owe money on, and that's why there's liens. So what the city manager said, that it's a corporation in good standing, that's not true. They paid the money because of all the improvements. You can't spend $750 and make a $225,000 profit in 4 minutes. It's just question after question after question. And it's time for the elected officials, it's time for Mayor Rose to step up. And the biggest question underlying all this, as a nonprofit corporation, a development corporation, which is supposed to be an arm's length from the city, how can it be operating, and how can there be this collusion when their master plan, the DRC's master plan, does not involve a children's museum or a new library? That's a requirement of state law, that they have to have an approved plan they're operating under, and they're not. And last year during the debate last week, the mayor alluded and offered out that he knew that they took the values, the appraised values, and gave 30%. why would the mayor understand the intimate negotiations if it's supposed to be an arm's length transaction and the DRC is operating away from the mayor? And with that, so number one, city manager's immediate firing. Number two, the immediately taking the benefits package away from Mr. Seebach. Number three, the city council cutting off all funding to the DRC. And the fourth, the incumbents to step down, Mayor Rhodes and the two council candidates to step down if they're not going to take action and be responsible for the millions and millions of dollars of taxpayers' money that's being wasted. Okay, question? No, I mean, this is not just that one single transaction. As you go down here, the buildings, when someone sells it for $6 a foot or $8 a foot, and the city turns around and the DRC turns around and buys it for $60 a foot. If you were negotiating, if the DRC was actually negotiating, you take the appraised value and negotiate from that. If they're decrepit, they're buildings that no one wants, are going to tear them down. You take the appraised value and get it for less than that. You don't pay them 30%. So.
Does anybody ever, when you talk about these renovations that were made, you found $17,000?
$1,750 worth. That was a permit from the city for the renovations that the city paid $225,000 for.
So they can't provide anything that says that there was another $24,200.
Well, I challenge the press to find out if what I'm providing is incorrect.
Mark, who is the DRC supposed to be accountable to?
The DRC is an independent, nonprofit corporation that answers to the city. We established them to be. They were supposed to. Their vision, when I was part of envisioning them, they were supposed to help the local businesses. Instead of talking about eminent domain on taking this end building or the other eminent domain on the other end, they were supposed to actually be working with these business owners to improve their business and grow their business. Not behind the scenes taking properties through secret purchases.
Why is their door consistently locked?
Well, I think that might go back to the sign back here. We need another 100 police officers. There are issues with crime, but maybe the DRC doesn't want to have an open door policy. At their last board meeting last month, they abruptly got up, yelled at people asking questions, and then left. They wouldn't take questions from the public.
MyrtleBeachSC.com came by today. We're standing in front of the locked door of what's known as the 517 building. This is the DRC facility. Doors are always locked. This is the Downtown Redevelopment Corporation. Its sole responsibility is to foster and develop business in the downtown areas of Myrtle Beach. A locked door seems to be an odd way to do that.